Major breaking news right now. The Daily Mail says Donald Trump named in latest Epstein documents. We knew this one was coming. We knew it was coming. But this is interesting because the initial claims don't include Trump, but there is some separate email that does. Regardless, as I've stated, anybody named in these documents, we should be investigating. That being said, Bill Clinton, Richard Branson, Prince Andrew reportedly have sex tapes made of them, blackmail perhaps, engaging in these activities with Epstein victims. Yo, this is a wild story. Take a look at this from Sky News. And this is why I say this is interesting that they're naming Donald Trump. But take a look at this. Sky News breaking. Court documents allege sex tapes taken of Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, and Sir Richard Branson by Jeffrey Epstein. They say Sarah Ransom, who says she was a victim of Epstein, wrote about claims the Duke of York, the ex-U.S. president and billionaire businessman, were filmed by the pedophile U.S. financier. A firm representing Epstein's lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, highlighted the allegations to demonstrate Ms. Ransom manifestly lacks credibility. Interesting. Ms. Ransom gave a victim impact statement ahead of British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell being sentenced for sex trafficking. Andrew has denied wrongdoing. Sky News is approaching Richard and Clinton for comment. The Duke stepped down from public life and no longer uses his Royal Highness title. I'm assuming that's HRH. After the controversy over his friendship with Epstein, the royal paid millions of pounds to settle a civil case with Virginia Giuffre, who accused him of assaulting her when she was 17. He claimed he never met Miss Giuffre. A U.S. judge ordered hundreds of documents to be unsealed as part of Miss Giuffre's previously settled civil claim against Maxwell, which was filed in 2015. Miss Ransom wrote, "When my friend had intercourse with Clinton Andrew Branson, tapes were in fact filmed on each separate occasion by Jeffrey. Thank God she managed to get a hold of some of the footage of the tapes, which clearly identify the faces of Clinton, Andrew, and Branson having intercourse with her. Frustratingly enough, Epstein was not seen in any of the footage, but he was clever like that. After 2 hours of trying to convince my friend to come forward with me, I eventually managed to persuade her to send me some of the video footage, which she kept, implicating all three men mentioned above. I personally can confirm that I have with my own two eyes seen the evidence of these acts, which clearly identifies Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew Branson, having intercourse with my friend. When my friend eventually had the courage to speak out and went to the police in 2008 to report what had happened, nothing was done, and she was utterly humiliated by the police department, where she went to report what had happened with Epstein, Clinton, Branson, and Andrew. Now, this is the initial report. And when you actually look at the documents, we have this from Technofog. There is no mention of Donald Trump, which we will get to. Technofog tweets, Branson and Clinton named in latest Jeffrey Epstein documents. Allegedly, there are tapes. Allegedly. These documents mean very little, okay? They mean a little, but they mean very little. This is someone making a claim in a court document. It doesn't mean it's true. It does not mean it's true. So we read this already. Technofog says Alan Dershowitz requested the court unseal these emails to reflect the credibility of the witness, Sarah Ransom. She made a number of accusations, including her friend being approached by Special Agents Forces men sent directly by Hillary Clinton herself. That's interesting. In order to protect her campaign in 2008, they heavily intimidated her, ruffled her up. Luckily, she took photos as evidence and was then forced to sign a confidentiality agreement, which ensures that she can never come forward publicly implicating her husband. She was then given a substantial payout directly from the Clinton Foundation to keep her quiet. She is 1,000% certain that the FBI did a cover-up, and she has the individual names of Hillary's special agent officers involved in intimidating her. She was then forced against her will to sign a legally binding confidentiality agreement on Hillary's behalf for her eternal silence. If she breaks this agreement, she is dead. To provide further context on credibility, witness alleged that the footage was backed up on several USB sticks sent to Europe. Payouts from the Clinton Foundation and an FBI cover-up, allegations against Sergey Brin and Trump. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Trump, really? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not surprised Trump was found in this. Whether you believe it or not, I will say outright first, I do not trust the machine. They don't like Trump. They hate Trump. Take that into consideration. That being said, everyone named, you get an investigation. I don't think it's a big deal to start looking into this to see what's going on and why Trump might be involved. That's it. It doesn't mean you charge him. It doesn't mean that he gets arrested or anything like that. It means all of these names, you get no special treatment. Here we go. This is the one we already read. She mentions the FBI cover-up and Hillary Clinton's special agents. Another one says, I will send you the photo, amongst others, as soon as I'm able to fly back to the UK next week, as I definitely 100% have it all in my little storage box. I also have other photos of the Epstein girls, and whilst on the island, including a couple pictures of me with Sergey Brin and his then fiance. I can't, let's see if I can read this. No, this stupid arrow is blocking it. Let me try and open this in another tab so I can, here we go. Anne Wojcicki. I met the pair when they visited the island for the day, as Sergey wanted to try out his new kite surfing equipment, as he just had only started kite surfing and was very eager to try out this new equipment with us girls. And then we have this. Several girls at any one time, a sentence fragment. She confided in me about her casual friendship with Donald. Mr. Trump definitely seemed to have a thing for her, and she told me how he kept going on about how he liked her pert nipples. Donald Trump liked flicking. Woo, we're not going to read this one. Donald Trump liked, let's call it third base. Or is this second base? One evening when we were showering together, she showed me her nipples. They looked incredibly painful as they were red and swollen, and I remember wincing when I looked at them. I also know that she had adult relations with Trump at Jeffrey's New York mansion on regular occasions, as I once met Jen for coffee just before she was going to meet Trump and Epstein together at his mansion. Now, I will say this for Trump, and I will say this for, even Bill Clinton. I want to make sure we're very, very clear and careful. Who are the women that are being alleged to have engaged in these relations with Epstein, Clinton, Branson, Prince Andrew? And additionally, who is this woman as it relates to Trump? We need to know who they are. We need to investigate this. And I will say outright, inquiry, baby. Inquiry. I do think it's really interesting that you have these direct claims against Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, who reportedly, according to similar documents released in the Epstein case, went to Vanity Fair and said, do not report on Jeffrey Epstein. At the same time, what information we have about Trump is that he actually kicked Epstein out because he was creeping on young women and helped go against him. Trump does not seem all that concerned about the Epstein documents in the same way that we have these other individuals. That being said, this was absolutely, in my opinion, the likely outcome. Who could not have seen it? Come on. Here's exactly the game, and it's the perfect game. The first thing that comes out were witness statements from Virginia Giuffre. I believe it was Giuffre. It may have been the other woman. Okay, let me just say this then. I don't know if it was Giuffre, but a woman saying Trump wasn't there. He did not sleep with the girls. And what happens? Each and every one of us in commentary who gets this say documents are actually exculpatory or exonerate Trump. He wasn't there. He didn't engage in these behaviors. I don't know what he was doing, but he wasn't there. So right away, we have Bill Clinton named as liking him young, but not much else. We get Donald Trump was not there and did not engage in relations with these girls. Surprise, surprise, confirmation bias for each and every one of us. But of course, what did we say? It's very likely they're gonna name him eventually. Now, far be it from me to prattle on about just the Trump involvement. We don't know if this woman has any credibility. Dershowitz says she doesn't. And so we'll see. I'm not playing this dirty game. Okay, I'm not playing this game where we say Dershowitz is accused, investigate. Clinton is now accused, investigate. Branson, Andrew, investigate. And Donald Trump accused. No. Investigate them all. And I'm pretty sure everyone agrees. In fact, some of the most staunchest Trump supporters say do it. Why? Well, many of them think it'll exonerate Trump once again. And many don't care if it does or doesn't. If Donald Trump really was doing this, so be it. But my concern here, I got to say it. My concern is walking into another Russiagate-like trap. This woman accuses very obvious people we have questions about and then throws Trump in there. Okay. Look, man, the machine has lied about Trump so many times. It's the boy who cried wolf. I don't want to give anybody a free pass, but I got to point out the boy who cried wolf, okay? Because with Bill Clinton, it's not so much crying wolf, but pointing to the wolf that's sitting right there that everyone can see. With Donald Trump, it's crying wolf. That ridiculous claim about Donald Trump going into the Bergdorf or whatever, Bill, like the most prominent department store. Nobody was there. Nobody was around for some reason in New York, where Trump's the most famous person. They went to a dressing room where the doors are locked, but for some reason this time it wasn't. And then she had consensual relations with Trump. And she sued Trump over this. Spare me, dude. Spare me. But how about this? I can say that a million times, so let's move on. Let's talk about the more egregious allegations in here. Bill Clinton, involved with Epstein's victims, engaging in activities with Epstein's trafficking victims, and allegations that go well beyond just Donald Trump and whether he was involved or not. Is it bad if he was? Oh, you bet. Come on, investigate. And if it's true, lock him up. But I don't know how much I believe it. We'll need to get an investigation. Let's talk about some very, very, very serious allegations. With the Clintons, it is not just that Bill Clinton is involved in the trafficking of Epstein. It's that the Clinton family paid off a victim to shut her up so Hillary could run in 2008 and even sent FBI to try and stop her. Now that is wild. So, here's the challenge, man. What do you do? This is the concern that I had for the perfect game. That they would then eventually name Trump in these documents. It's very obvious. And what do you say? Everyone coming out being like, I don't care if you're in the documents and the ones identify, you should not be president, things like that. And then they say, whoop, there's Trump. Did they get you? Or is our standard going to be applied the same? Prove it. If it's Bill Clinton, prove it. The implication is serious. Prove it. Let's not forget that right now, Bill Clinton has some serious accusations against him, and Trump is moot. The arguments against Trump moot. Why? One witness said it didn't happen. One said it did. What am I supposed to do with that? Okay, let's investigate. With Bill Clinton, not only did Epstein say they were good friends and that he likes him young, but they also claim that Bill Clinton went to Vanity Fair to try and shut him up, to stop them from reporting on this. We also know that around this time, the original accusations made against Epstein, he got a slap on the wrist deal and a cover up. Makes you wonder why that might be. Could it be that Hillary Clinton wanted to win in 2008? That the Democrats wanted to win in 2012? And that accusations against Bill Clinton, should they come to light, would destroy the Democratic Party? Now that makes sense. So the FBI comes out. All of that makes sense. With Trump, they lie about him all the time. With Trump, one witness says he wasn't there and he wasn't with the girls. Another person now says, my friend says. Okay, well, you know what? Produce the videos. I don't even know if there's allegedly videos of Trump, by the way. It's just her saying that Trump was engaging in second base and eventually adult relations. But it's very, very different. Let me pull this one back up. Saying she said, I also know she had sexual relations with Mr. Trump at Jeffrey's New York mansion on regular occasions, as I once met Jen for coffee just before she was going to meet Trump and Epstein together at his mansion. We need to know who she's referring to, because when it comes to some of these victims, and I believe it's the case for almost all of them, they're underage. But again, I don't know who she's referring to. I'll need to go through further documents. These are just coming out, and I'm predicting this because I think it's important to get out there. But it will be interesting to break down and go through. I don't have any perfect answers for you, my friends. I can say only a few things. In my emotions, in my heart, I say, I don't believe it. You come out and you accuse Trump. I don't believe it. I know Trump's a lecherous old man. I'll call him that. Fine. He likes the ladies. You know, I've heard so many stories about Trump. But it feels like that's what they're trying to play to. It feels like they're trying to exploit this when in reality, Donald Trump has no, he's been lied about so often. that I just find it hard to believe anything about him. Now, here's my personal bias. I don't believe it. Personal bias right there. Why? Donald Trump is a threat to the machine. He's a threat to these people. He hates the Clintons. He already threatened locking up Hillary. He didn't do it. Maybe he should have. So why should I believe these claims against him? You claimed he was a Russian spy. You lied. You lied about the Ukraine Gate scandal. You lied about feeding fish. You lied about the very fine people statement. That was a hoax. It's all lies. Just every single day. Lies, lies, lies. And if you take a look at this document, it's filed today. It's released. I'd like to see the date from when the original statement was made because I don't believe these people. I really don't. And I got to be honest, too. I don't even entirely believe anything about this. And here's the fair point. Technofog even is effectively giving Bill Clinton some defense. Allegedly, there are tapes. Allegedly. This is a woman saying, my friend did these things. So as far as it goes with Clinton and Branson, take it all with a grain of salt, man. We want to look at Bill Clinton and be like, this guy, he's flying on a jet. You know, he's got his scandals already. You know, if it walks like a duck, smells like a duck. Smells like a duck? No. Quacks like a duck. Maybe. But to be fair, some lady claiming that her friend has a tape is not evidence of anything. It's not even admissible. It's hearsay. Now, it's interesting, of course, to hear Bill Clinton being named in these documents so seriously. But man, it's getting wild. So, you know, look, I recorded a different segment for one, and I quickly recorded this when the news breaks, and I'm like, okay, let's switch these segments out because how serious this is. But it is wild time, man. It is a wild time. Jim Gaffigan, I think it was Jim Gaffigan at the Golden Globes. I don't care for the Golden Globes, but apparently he made a joke. Actually, let me pull this one up to show you where we're currently at about how he doesn't fit in Hollywood. I think it was Jim Gaffigan, right? Oh yeah, Gold's joke leaves. Here we go, baby. Look at the headline they use. Comedian Jim Gaffigan makes daring Jeffrey Epstein reference at Golden Globes 2024. So, oh, come on. Can we close this stupid thing? It says, where's the quote? Where's the quote? Come on. He said, this is so exciting for me. The Golden Globes, I can't believe I'm in the entertainment industry. I can't. You know, it's so unlikely. I'm from a small town in Indiana. I'm not a pedophile. I don't know if that's a new category here, but woo! They know it. They know it, man. As noted in the Epstein documents, a lawyer asked Epstein accuser, Sjoberg, how do I pronounce it? I saw one press report that said you had met Kate Blanchett or Leo DiCaprio. Now, just because these people were named, she says, I did not meet them. When I spoke about them, it was when I was messaging him and he would get off. He'd be on the phone at the time and he would say, oh, that was Leonardo or that was Kate Blanchett or Bruce Willis, that kind of thing. I got questions about when that happened. I got questions about when these celebrities were on the phone with Epstein. Because people knew going back to the early 2010s. I mean, Alex Jones had been talking about it. They covered this up. Slap on the wrist charges and a cover up. And people knew. Remember that woman? Was it Amy Roback from ABC News saying she had the story? She had Clinton? So let me go back to this and tell you right now. If you come to me and say they named Trump, I say, fair point. They did. Investigate. But if you want to ask me my personal opinions on how I'd handle it, Bill Clinton has been implicated so many times. The Roback thing where she's on a hot mic being like, I had Clinton. And then when everyone's like, we think Clinton's going to be named in this. Now with all the accusations against him, come on, man. You want me to come out and go after Donald Trump? Nah, homie, don't play that. Donald Trump, standard questions, and then I think we walk away because it's hearsay. Bill Clinton, I think we got more than enough in probable cause for a heavier investigation. But what more could we say, man? What more could be done? I don't know. There's a lot more we have to go through. These documents are just coming out as I'm recording this. And so the crack team of journalists over at scnr.com are digging in and will be writing about their findings. But understand, too, some of these documents were already released several years ago. Some of the names that were redacted actually were already released several years ago and are only re-redacted for some reason. So it's hard to know exactly what this will all mean or turn into. But I will say, my friends, the machine is breaking down. It's pretty wild. 10 years ago, if you claimed, and this literally happened, that the government was involved in child trafficking rings and all that stuff, secret islands, you were called a conspiracy theorist, and now it is a fact. So much so, it is seeming more and more likely every day that a former U.S. president was involved in the exploitation of trafficked children with Jeffrey Epstein. Things are getting wild. 2024 is going to be scary, I tell you what, because these people are powerful and they're being backed into corners and they're not just going to roll over. In fact, my fear is that we eventually get to the point where someone like Bill Clinton comes out and says, yeah, well, so what? What are you going to do about it? And what are you going to do about it? Reminds me of The Simpsons when they vote for Kang or Kodos. Remember that Treehouse of Horror? And then it turns out that Bob Dole and who else was it? Bill Clinton were both actually Kang and Kodos aliens. And then they're like, oh no. And he's like, it's a two-party system. You have to vote for one of us. And then one guy's like, I believe I'll vote for a third-party candidate. Ha ha, throw your vote away. And then it ends with everyone enslaved. And Homer's like, don't look at me. I voted for Kodos. Part of me fears that these people have become so brazen in their behaviors that Bill Clinton eventually just comes out and says, so what? What are you going to do about it? More to come, man. We'll cover this tonight on Timcast IRL. Thanks for hanging out. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. and I'll see you all then.